So the sample panels are finished here now. We have float finish, sponge finish, lime putty finish. These three finishes are part of internal works. And then we have wet dash, what's going to resemble a stone cottage after it's lime washed, and a scratch coat, and a ruled finish. So what our task here now today is to lime wash all them using traditional lime washes. So the first thing we have to do is make our basic lime wash by dry slaking. So to dry slake your lime wash you need equal volumes of water to quicklime. So I'm going to put the quicklime into this, and what's going to happen is this is going to react, and it's going to bubble up and it's going to turn into a dry hydrate. So that's starting to react now, and it's a good reaction time as well. It's starting to boil within a minute. That means the lime isn't dead. It's important to wear glasses and gloves at this thing. Is fairly dangerous. So that's boiling away there now, and that's going to turn into a dry hydrate, and that's what we're looking for, a powder. Now I'm just going to leave that to one side, and I have one made earlier. I'll just wait for the steam to cool down a small bit there now. Normally now if we were on a job we'd be trying to spare that steam, keep in that steam to keep the temperatures up. It's the temperatures that makes it a good mortar, and that's why dry slaking is the best way to go about it. So that's steaming there now. I'll just put that to one side. I have one that's made earlier. I'll put this out of the way. Now let's see this one turn to a powder. Yeah, that's a fairly good powder now, and so to make the basic lime wash, then we need 3 parts water to 1 part quicklime. Not the dry hydrate, because it's after doubling in volume. And then we'll sieve it. Now, according as that cools now, it will stiffen up as well. So this is why you need 3 buckets of water to 1 part of quicklime. Okay, just going to add a little bit of water here. A milky consistency. So now we only want a small bit of lime wash, so I'm just going to sieve a little bit of that now. This is our sieve. So to sieve that we need to that in here like that, and I'm going to give it another little stir, because there's some unburnt limestones in that never slaked. Now let's see what we've got there. Now we have a nice little bit of lime wash there, so I'm going to fill some of them tubs. I'm just going to use 1 measure of this jug into each one. These are going to be our separate colours. You can see the milky consistency of it now, and that's still hot. And we often put on our first coat of lime wash hot onto a relatively newly finished plasterwork. This will penetrate the lime render and last longer. And you'll get 20 years out of this, and it won't rub off on your clothes. So this is the measure we're going to use now. The pigments are over here. So the pigments are all made from iron oxides. Basically iron rusts, and you have iron there, the blue and the green. The green is chromium, and it's all made from iron oxides. So the important thing to remember here is when you're using pigments, you'll want to put, let me see now, we need another taupe. So I was just saying, like, the important thing to remember these pigments is to get rid of these lumps. So this is caused from dampness or wherever it is stored. You can see little lumps inside in the pigments. Now what will happen is, if you don't dissolve them lumps properly, what will happen is they'll bleed out through your wall. So you'll have a big streak of yellow down in your wall. Now, when using pigments as well, it should be less than 10%. If you have more than 10% pigment, you're interfering with the porosity of the render, and you could interfere with its breathability and its movement and all the other stuff it has to do. So how we dissolve this properly before we add it into the lime wash is a kettle of hot water or very warm water, and then what we have to do is stir it. Keep stirring it like that, and that'll help get rid of all the little lumps. And when that's done, then we can add this yellow in, and just remember to use the same amounts each time, even the water that you dissolve it with. So these are a range of ochres, and this is yellow ochre. So, and then it's up to you then how much pigment, and these are basically the primary colours. So we'll see now here what this turns out like. This is a nice yellow ochre, so we'll do half it. And we'll let that set in, and then we'll come back and do the other half. We might do another one there now. We might do the wet dash. We'll let that settle in, and then we'll come back on it. Okay. Now, I'll just put these to one side. Let that'll drip, make it kind of even. Now we move on to another colour. Okay, so we'll try the ultramarine blue. So this is ultramarine blue, and the blue is fairly interesting. Now remember, we have to get the same amount of water into this now again. Okay. This is very interesting. The blue colour, the original blue came from a little quarry in Afghanistan. That's a World Heritage Site now at the minute, and it's closed down. So it's very hard to replicate this colour, but they can do it. And I think it's sodium hydroxide or something that they use for this blue. You'd often see in old historic houses, they'd refer to all the rooms upstairs as the pink room, the green room, or the blue room. And another thing to remember as well, if you ever do happen to come across a historic blue, you should always get it checked out, because so rare, and they're very important. Now, what was I going to do? Yeah, so we're going to do the skimmed wall, the lime putty. So I'm going to have to put this back into this, our basic lime mix at the minute. They used to give kings and queens across the world presents of this blue. Now, paintbrush. Let's see how this goes. Yes, I'm going to let that soak away, and you can see the way it will run down there and make it a bit more even. We let that run down. And remember, some of these lime washes can take 4 and 5 coats, and if it's new work it might only take 2 coats. So now we'll try a bit of red. Now, same amount of water, 10%, approximately 10% of the pigment into this by volume. Now we'll mix up this pigment. The warm water from the kettle will help dissolve them lumps. See how the red turns out. That's the thing. The nightmare is that is if if there's a lump left in it, it'll bleed. Now, so we'll this is the float finish. Little bit of blue coming through there, but that doesn't matter. So now we're on to the cottage effect. So we have just white. Doesn't look white there now, but that will dry out to be a nice white, and then we can give it a colour. Tomorrow we'll be able to finish these, because I'm going to put that blow heater on it. We have a blow heater out there to dry all them. And the lined and ruled. Okay, I think we'll do a nice. Oh, we never done green. So the green is chromium oxide. So same amount of water here again. Now I have to wash this out actually. I'm just washing out this now. So now we want green. Same amount of water, and we're going to use a splash of green. Now I'll just stir up this lime wash here again, and I add the green. Okay, let's go over and see how this fares out now. We did actually do a bit in there a couple of years ago in Clonmel school, and they painted the outside of it green, but it wasn't lime wash. Now, ooh, that's that seemed to work better than the other colours. I'm going to let this over to dry now as well. Actually, I can't do that. I have to do that there. And then just a scratch. We're not going to do anything with that. I'll just put that there. And now, all I have to do now is turn on this heater. This is how we dry our pigments. This big glow heater here. Yeah, and that's it.